No, no, I don't. And I never had. When I came to, I played rugby a lot in my career, which I always knew is interesting. It was an outlet. I always, even on the rugby field, um, and I trained quite hard. I came out of the military, and then I also trained a rugby team, a club, and played for them. And I find it interesting actually that the Japanese have really got into rugby in the last 15, 20 years. I find that quite interesting. And they've got quite good at it as well. But I used to lose myself. There's no doubt about it. On a rugby pitch on a Saturday afternoon, I would definitely lose myself. And I knew that. I had this awareness that I needed this because I could lose myself. Um, and in that sort of sport, and 15 people in a rugby team, there's no place. Um, you can't be thinking about what's going on in life when you've got, you know, some guy running at you flat out who wants to, hurt you. So yeah, so I suppose from that form, and I played rugby right into my late 30s, and then I came out to did IZL, and a very strange thing happened to me in my life. Actually, I didn't need sport at that time or martial arts, to be honest. I needed unwinding. My body needed unwinding. One of the things about the field gunning, the military training, is that we didn't do any taking the body in the opposite direction. We did plenty of tightening it up, and it was half of a good part of my issues was going the other way. And I came back to the UK, and when on my first Zen leadership course, I did this, the Ginny stick drawings, and I went back, and I had a very bad back at that point in my life, and I decided that I was going to do these 7 yoga poses every day, and I did them for a year, and my back stopped. No more problems with my back. But during that period where I was living, uh, a friend of mine turned up one day to the village, and I said, "Oh, what are you doing walking around?" She said, "Oh, we're opening a yoga studio and a therapy center." And it was like literally 50 meters from my door. So they turned up and very quickly opened this, and I started practicing. Started off 2 days a week, and then it was 3 days a week, and then I'd practice every day with them at their yoga school, and that was took me into yoga. So and I really do enjoy yoga, but even in yoga, my practice has changed over the last 7, 8 years. When I first started off, it was much more of a yang practice, pretty active, that sort of thing in the West that we think if we're not, sweating a lot, we're not doing anything, to a practice I have now where I just like to sit in a pose for 3 or 4 or 5, 6 minutes, watching my breath and not doing much. So that's changed, and that's I suppose I've aged in that time, and it's had a big impact. And the more of the yin style now, probably at my age, I find much more beneficial. Yeah. So that's the closest I've come to any martial arts.